Hi guys, I have to say I really liked episode 50. We got some cute Janin moments, we got some comedic moments. I really enjoyed it. I liked it very much. And I have two things to say before I get into my review. The first thing is, if you hear any background noises, cars coming by, some construction going on, I'm really sorry, but I have to have the window open because otherwise I would die in here. And the second thing is, if you're new to my channel, hello and welcome. I summarize the latest Erkenci episode, say what I liked, what I didn't like, predict what might happen next, or in this case, say what is going to happen in the final episode. If you like these kinds of videos or videos that I do in general, subscribe, like, share, and we will meet on a not really weekly basis, but yeah, click that bell to be notified whenever I post something, and we will see each other again. It's so sad that it's ending, but anyways, let's get to the review. First we have Melahat getting rich. So some princess of Afghanistan died and she left her and her siblings some inheritance, and Melahat is playing the rich woman, just being generous and giving people her scarves and her earrings, and oh my god, like, I'm rich, I'm giving everything away because now I have money and I don't need anything else. It was just really hilarious. But then I was like, really, I have a bad feeling about this situation. At the same time, we have Selim being kind of weird. I was like, he doesn't seem like a very serious person or a person that you could trust, because he picks up Mama David and then he says that he doesn't have a car anymore because it's in service, or like it's getting fixed. Then they go out for lunch or something and he can't find his wallet, so she has to pay. And then when she typed in her code, like for the credit card, he was looking over to see the pin, and I was like, okay, something's fishy here. And then when he was at Mama David's place, where Layam was as well, and Mevkabe FaceTimed Layla, and Malahat told her that she's a rich woman now, Selim was like, beep, 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 beep. A rich woman, I have to get to know her. Who is she? I want to know her. And then him getting close to Melahat, kissing her on the cheek. Just, how do you say it? Like, in Australia you say the fingerwickel, but it's like you kind of play with the person's mind and just make that person your puppy. I don't know if that's really, but basically who wants to use her. He's a con artist, basically. When they're shooting the ad, which I'm going to talk later about, in the neighborhood, he's there sending Melahat flowers. At first Mama David thought the flowers were for her, and then she got really angry that they were for Melahat. She was really happy, and then she's like, well, break up with Mama David, and he's like, oh no. Anyways, she drags him out of his hiding spot because he was hiding from Muzo and JJ, who were constantly throwing him off set. And there Melahat says that they're together, they're dating, and he has to break up with Mama David. Mama David is really shocked about the news. She faints. Then Melahat's sister appears and says that inheritance doesn't exist, blah blah blah, so they're not really rich. So Melahat faints and Selim sees, okay, the one rich woman that I had before, so Mama David, just fainted and she hates me now. The woman that I thought was really rich isn't rich anymore, so I just say goodbye. But before that, he also asked for money from Mihriban, and she gave him a lot of money. And after he went away from Mihriban, he FaceTimed a woman and he was like, yes, my love, I will come back, I will send you that much money that it will last for a year, blah blah blah. And I was like, what is just like, really? And in that moment I really wish that rich uncle, like Sanem's uncle, would be back, take Mama David in, be together with her. Anyways, Mama David is so embarrassed about this situation that she's going to, I didn't quite catch that, Australia or Austria, anyways, to a different country, because she can't look the people that witnessed that in the eye, and she feels really embarrassed, and also embarrassed in front of her kids that they had to witness witness that. So Can and Emre are trying to find out more about Selim and what he's really up to, blah blah blah. Anyways, I felt kind of sad for Mama David because I started to like her more and more over the last couple of episodes since she got really good. So yeah, I really do hope that she will appear in the last episode. I really don't want an Erkenci Kush finale without Aziz, Mama David, Bulut, Deniz and Rich Uncle. He needs to be there as well, in my opinion. Anyways, then we have Layla being Aileen 2.0. So they sent Canem away on a small trip, and while they're away, Deren gets the news that a new agency, a fresh agency, got a chance to work with the cosmetic company and that they're rivals kind of. So Layla tries to find out information about their campaign, their idea for Sanem's creams. So she researches the creative director of that agency. She knows that person, spies on her, invites her for coffee, and that woman kind of notices Layla being weird and is like, well, I know what you're doing, blah blah blah, you're not getting any information. Anyways, Layla is so desperate to keep this deal live so that she and Emre, even though Emre doesn't know anything about her plan, one night she wants to go out to that hotel where I think Aysel is her name. She's meeting up with a man even though she's married. So Layla takes pictures of her, then blackmails her to get the documents of the campaign. The next day she shows everybody the documents, the campaign that the competition has prepared. Deren, Emre and Can are very like, no, that's not ethical, I don't want to look at it, blah blah blah. And she gets really angry and has a fight with Emre and is like, well, I did this all for you, I did this all for the agency, for Can, for Sanem, why is nobody seeing that, blah blah blah. And he's really disappointed in her, and Deren witnesses that fight as well, and she says that she just saw Aileen, and Emre is like, yes, I did as well. So he's really disappointed in Layla. Anyways, that night she realizes that she did really wrong, so she apologizes to Emre. He's like, as long as you see the mistake you made and understand what you did wrong, I'm fine with it, apology accepted. So I really like that he's so considerate, is that the right word? But just seeing that moment and then thinking back to the first couple of episodes where he was completely like Aileen, I was like, oh my god, I'm so proud of Emre for coming this way and changing that much. Then we also have Nihat being so happy that he can finally eat proper food because Sanem comes to the neighborhood, wants to eat some proper food made by Mihriban, and Mihriban says, okay, I will cook tonight. And he's so happy because all he got was salads and tofu because of JJ, and then he had a nightmare of being inside his stomach. Like, it was just so funny to watch. Anyways, and now to the main storyline, Canem. So we continue the conversation at the Problem Rock. Sanem walks off, but Can stops her and says, well, just listen and try to listen carefully what I want to say. And then he tells her what Aziz told him that night, and she's really disappointed that Aziz had to tell him that. So she's like, well, you should have gotten it, you should have noticed that, and not Aziz. And then she's really disappointed in him and walks off. Goes to the neighborhood. Mihriban sees that there's something wrong, like why would Sanem want to come back? Mihriban keeps trying to find out what is really wrong with Sanem, but she doesn't say anything. She says everything is fine with Can, everything is fine, blah blah blah. And then Mihriban is talking to Layla, saying like, you have to find out what is really going on with Sanem, because I know my child, there is something and she doesn't want to tell me. That night Layla talks to Sanem. Sanem tells her what happened at the Problem Rocks. Layla tells Sanem that Can talked to Emre and Emre told him about her being in the hospital, the book, blah blah blah, and Can is now feeling guilty about everything. So she has to give Can just a chance, just some time to remember it. So she was kind of on Can's side. For Sanem to be more patient with Can. While all of this is happening, we have Can going to the doctor telling him that his checks or results are really good, so he's back to normal except for his brain, and he will send him to a therapist that will help him kind of remember everything. And he also tells him that if you put too much pressure on your brain won't remember anything. And then Can has this flashback of Sanem telling him that she was in the hospital and then he came back, so he's seeing a connection there kind of. Then he goes to the agency, asks Emre what I already said that Layla told Sanem, if he was the reason why Sanem was in the hospital. And Emre is trying to say, well, not really, but also saying yes you were, but in a nice way. Anyways, Can understands it. Okay, he was the reason for everything. And Emma also tells him that you have to read the book because everything is written down. You just have to read the book. So Can reads the whole book within a night, calls Daran in the middle of the night, tells her a plan. Anyways, the next day we have Layem, Sanem, Muzo, Gigi somewhere, and Daran at the agency, and Daran trying to convince Sanem to go to a special location to look at it, to use it for an ad or something. I didn't quite catch what they wanted to do with that location or why she needed to look at it, but they said, yeah, you're the head of the brand, you're the soul of everything, you need to look at it. And Sanem at first was like, no, I don't want to, what if Can doesn't like it? So anyway was like, yeah, what if Can doesn't like it? But Daran was signing, it's Can's plan, just shut up and play along. And then Emma says, yeah, Sanem, you have to go because you're the soul of this brand, blah blah blah. And they kind of convince her to go. She goes to that hotel and tells the reception guy that she doesn't know her way around and if there's any assistant for her. That guy says, yeah, he's waiting outside or something like that. And who appears? Can. Sanem is like, Can, and he's like, David, at your service. And it was so funny. I really liked him being so formal with her and just trying to get close to her. I really loved everything in this episode, especially the Janim moments. While they're having this conversation in front of the reception or outside the reception, Sanem is quite sarcastic and kind of dismissive. Like she's like, I don't want you near me kind of, but he wants to help her and stuff like that. And then she keeps looking at her voice up there, and then he's looking, where is she looking? It was just so amazing. And then she walks off, she doesn't need his help, blah blah blah, and drags her luggage after her but goes the completely wrong direction. And then he's like, well, you said you don't want any help, but your room is on the other side. And then she takes a big turn and walks past him. Oh my god, I laughed so much. It was just so hilarious, and him walking after her, amazing. Then she comes back being ready for the beach. He appears, he's like, Sanem Hanım, I have everything prepared for you. And she's like, well, why are you still here, blah blah blah. And he says that he has to fulfill his duty because Fikri Harika hired him. And she's like, have you heard of their boss? He's very arrogant, and just saying very negative things about Can. And he's like, no, well, I've heard he's very attractive and a gentleman. It was just so hilarious. And then he says, well, I have some protection. Sanem is like, no, I don't need it, thank you very much. He's like, I have some sun cream, blah blah blah. And she's always saying no to everything. And she says, well, I have one request. And he's like, yes, of course, anything. And she says, just leave me alone. It was just so amazing. And then him being like, amazing. I love Jan's facial expressions in this episode. It was like 10 out of 10. Anyways, we have Sanem on the beach looking around, trying to see Can, but he's nowhere in sight. So she goes out in the water, looking at the beach from a different angle, trying to find him, but he comes on a jet ski driving around, blah blah blah. Then we have this scene from the trailer where he's like, well, jump on. She's like, I'm not a dolphin. He says, I found a really nice island, just come on. And she's like, yes, I will come, but if I don't like it, I want to go back to Istanbul, blah blah blah. So basically she goes with him. Then we have the preview, and because Sanem says that she's cold and she wants to get back, he goes to the jet ski and says that it's broken, even though it's not, because he's looking where the ropes are. It was just so amazing. and she's like, oh my god, no, what will we do? Just look for help, blah blah blah. So he walks off. She's alone on this beach, kind of talking to herself about John, but he's actually listening. It's just so amazing. Then he says, yeah, he's so tired of everything, blah blah blah. He can't find any help. This jet ski is not working. They have to stay here overnight. Then gives her a fishing net for her to catch some fish while he's getting some firewood and building a bed for them. And then she's not very satisfied with the bed because she wants some separate beds. She doesn't want to be embraced by a man who doesn't love her. Then he's like, well, what else do you want? A full breakfast? What? It was just amazing. I loved it so much. Or before that, she wants to get away, just to find some help, and he's really frustrated, so he picks her up and walks off with her. And then he remembers that moment when they were at the culinary school with Pauline and he picked her up back then. He tells her that he had that deja vu, and Sanem is like, you remember? And he's like, no, it's only because I read it in your book, there's nothing special. So he doesn't really want to admit that he has those flashbacks, and I still don't understand why. Is he too proud? Is he too embarrassed that he doesn't remember anything? I don't know. Then we have John eating some fish, and John remembers the wine that he took with him, or champagne, or some kind of alcohol he took with him. Anyway, Sanem is like, no, I'm not going to drink, no, I don't want it. And he's so frustrated that he puts the whole bottle in front of her, which is so amazing. Anyways, then we have John talking, Sanem asking John which was his favorite part in her book, and he tells her that it was actually the moment she found out that he was albatros. And then they talk a little bit about that moment, and then we have Sanem wanting to go to sleep, even though you can really see that she's tipsy or more like slightly drunk. Then we have this amazing scene, John waking up, John being all cute. I loved it so much. Anyway, Sanem, when she's waking up, she's like, what am I doing here? What just happened? Blah blah blah. So she doesn't remember anything about last night. So he tells her everything that happened, that she wanted to dance, that he was asleep and she danced by the fire, then tried to wake him up because she wanted to dance with him, blah blah blah, just enjoy the night. Then they have this really close dance together, and her telling him that she's just happy that he didn't die in this accident. She doesn't care that he doesn't remember her or that they're not together anymore. She just didn't want him hurt or dead. And actually, no, he doesn't tell her that part. He just tells her that she wanted them to dance. But the part what she said to him, he didn't tell her. And he says out loud that he hopes that those words weren't just drunk words, but she really meant that. Because while he's thinking back to that moment, she's out in the sea swimming a little bit, and then he walks to the jet ski and says, it's working again, a miracle, blah blah blah. And her look is like, yeah, but then she acts surprised. So I think she really knew what was going on, but she just liked being next to him. Then we have Janem finally switching on their phones. They get tons of messages from everybody from the agency because of that problem they have with the different agency coming for the same deal, blah blah blah. Anyways, they go back to the agency. Daran and the whole team explain the situation, and I was like, that shirt that Daran had on, it seemed very familiar, but I couldn't put my finger on which episode it was in, but I have a feeling that I've seen this shirt before on Daran. Anyway, so we have the whole team trying to figure things out, coming up with an amazing campaign. Layla being really driven and just pushing Sanem to come up with things, Sanem wanting to come up with a slogan, her trying to talk to her voice, but then John comes and is leaning really closely, puts his hand on hers, blah blah blah, wanting to check things. It was just, ooh, I loved it. And while this amazing scene was happening, Aichi appears, and I was like, woman, the worst timing ever. Anyways, on the other side, I feel kind of happy that she came because she warned the whole team, she warned John and the whole agency about what is going on with her uncle, him finding a different agency, wanting to work with them because they have an amazing idea, blah blah blah. Anyways, I appreciate her for telling the team and warning them, kind of. Anyways, then when Aichi wants to go, excuse me, I'm filming an Erkenci Kush review. Anyways, when Aichi wants to leave, she invites John on this hiking trip. He accepts. Sanem is not really amused, and then he kind of tells her that she's coming along, blah blah blah, and he will teach her everything about hiking. So Sanem was really annoyed that he accepted that invitation that quickly. So that conversation is actually happening way later after Aichi left, and she comes back with some slogans, and then he notices that she's back to formal and tells her, just tell me what is wrong, what did I do wrong, what is happening right now. So she explains the situation. Then we have Sanem and Mihriban getting drunk, having a girls' night, not needing any man, and I enjoyed that scene a lot. And then John coming, seeing Sanem drunk, having a laugh a little bit, and then leaving them, having a girls' night. Just Demet's performance, she's such a great actress. I mean, everybody is so talented in this cast, but Demet and John are just 100 out of 10. Then the next day, when Layla is showing the whole team the information that she got, Sanem has the same top on that she had when they went on this team building camping trip with Fabri, where Osman was kind of introduced as Sanem's fiance to everybody else. So yeah, that's just a thing that I've noticed. Anyways, because they need to find a new campaign and an ad, Jan asks Sanem for whom did she make these creams. She says her mother. Then they're zooming in on John, and he's like, I got it. He has an idea what to do. So they want to film Mihriban, Mevkebe and Melahat, and as soon as Mama David hears about it, she's really shocked. What? They don't have a face for an ad, blah blah blah. Anyways, they're trying to convince Mevkebe to play this role, but she's like, no, I don't want to do this, blah blah blah. John actually called Mama David and told her to come to convince Mevkebe to play this role. So I don't really know if it was just played, like this anger that Mama David had, or was it real genuine anger and frustration that Mevkebe is playing in an ad. I don't really know, but anyway, she got there. She got Mevkebe to play in the ad because she was saying, well, you don't have a face for an ad, blah blah blah, you need to be in the kitchen. While this whole thing is happening, Nihat was kind of in a food coma or something, and then just sometimes saying some really random things, and then suddenly he mentions the potion that Mevkebe made, and Jan is like, what? So he kind of found out what their plan was, and then after Mevkebe accepted, he's like, well, you should be ashamed about that tea, blah blah blah. Like, really, tea? It was just amazing. Anyways, then we have Fikri Harika shooting the ad in the neighborhood, Aicha and her uncle coming to see what is happening. Aicha actually wanting to have like a signature in Sanem's book because she enjoyed that story so much. Anyways, they're shooting the ad. The uncle likes the idea and everything that is happening, and then we have this whole Selim fiasco happening, Melahat fainting, Mama David fainting, him running away, blah blah blah. And then we have Sanem and Mihriban talking, Mihriban encouraging Sanem to bring John tea to have some alone time. Anyway, she goes there, and John has a lot of people plus Aisha over, and Sanem is really confused, and him being really active and explaining how it was in Tibet, blah blah blah. And Sanem is feeling kind of awkward, and then them slightly making fun of Sanem for not knowing a place, or being like shocked, like, oh, you don't know about this place. Anyways, then we have John talking kind of about traveling with this whole group, and Sanem is like, what? And then he says, yeah, you're coming with me. Is it okay for you that she's coming with us? Blah blah blah. And she's really confused and kind of disappointed, frustrated after everybody left. She's like, what are you planning to do? Wanting to travel? And me taking with you as what? A friend, a bride, a fiance, a love you can't remember? And then John doesn't answer, and she's like, of course you can't answer me because I'm not on your mind and also not in your heart. And then she tells him that he's doing all of this just to calm his conscience, that he's not feeling guilty anymore because he knows what happened from the book and from Emre and everybody else. And then she walks off. John stops her. They're really close. He wants to kiss her, but she stops him and tells him it's not necessary, I don't need this, and walks off. And I was like, even though I really wanted to see them kiss, I'm like, yes, strong Sanem is back. I mean, she wasn't really gone, but still, she's here. She's like, I'm missing quite a few words that I want to say. Anyways, she's strong, and I love that she's not falling for all of this. And that's the end. And now to Alex's predictions for episode 51, like the final episode of Erkenci Kush. So right after the episode, we got an amazing preview. We see Can and Sanem in a wedding gown, him dressed like a groom, them saying goodbye to the family and friends and going down the dock. I'm like, oh my god, the David family, they're married. I'm so happy. I got really emotional, not just because it will be the last episode, but also because I finally see them happy. And then seeing him with a ring, oh my god, like I love it so much. I can't wait. And then them waving at everybody and walking down the dock, and I think that's the moment when they will go on the boat on the world tour. I will cry the whole episode 51, I think. Anyways, last night we got a trailer, and we have Sanem on a moped, moto. It's not really a motorbike, it's more like a Vespa thing. I don't know what's up with that. It looks kind of funny. Anyway, she sees John sitting on his own, her having an accident, him coming running saying you need to call 911 or just like an emergency, and then her being like, oh, who are you? I don't remember anything, I just had an accident. I don't know if she's just playing dumb or making fun of him, I don't know, but it looks hilarious. And then them two talking, her telling him that she wants to go on a world tour, and their plans after that, and them being together on this bench, really cuddly, really amazing. Then we have everybody gathered for this engagement ceremony, giving Sanem to John kind of, and John's side didn't even ask Nihat. He's like, I'm giving her away, blah blah blah, just get her, John. And then her coming with the coffee, and everybody's like, well, Nihat just gave you away. It looks amazing, so funny. I think I will laugh and cry at the same time. So what else can I predict for the last Erkenci Kush episode? I've seen a picture or a couple of pictures of a house where they shot the final scenes. And that house, if you watch Kiralık Aşk, you know what I'm referring to. It's the house they used in the first couple of episodes for his aunt and uncle. Anyways, I think that will be the family home. That will be their house. I hope we will see Yıldız, Ateş and Deniz running around, having a blast, maybe them having a dog. I really do hope to see Leyla and Emre with kids as well. Even though I know we won't really see them pregnant, I still do hope that we will, but at least to see everybody with kids. Seeing Aziz and Mama David there as well. Maybe Mama David with rich uncle, Aziz being back with Mihriban, Deren with Bulut, Deniz with Muzo, JJ. I really do hope to see JJ with a partner. I don't know if I'm asking too much, but I really want to know in the last episode, where is JJ coming from? from. I want to know that because they made such a big deal out of it in the first couple of episodes and we never got to know. Is there anything else? I don't think so. Yeah, I hope I said everything, mentioned everything, talked about everything. And yeah, I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment what your thoughts are on episode 50. Subscribe to my channel for more Erkenci Kush reviews or just videos that I do in general. Click that bell to be notified whenever I post something, especially now because Erkenci Kush is ending and I might take a little break. And when I will be back, because of that bell, you will get a lovely notification saying Alex is back with a new video. Anyways, well, I'm not saying goodbye for now because we still have one more amazing episode left. And yeah, I'm talking way too much. Anyways, we will see each other next week. Bye!